The NFL season is officially over, guys, and my Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Now, it's time to focus our energy on the NFL draft. In today's episode of the J All Day Sports Show, what I'm going to do for you guys is do a one-round mock draft for all 32 teams. The draft is set from the Titans at number 1 to the Eagles at 32. Let's mock it. NFL fans, before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, it does really help us get into the algorithm. I just want to say thank you guys to everyone that supported the channel. We're closing in on 14,000 subscribers, only 31 more. Hopefully with this video, we will get there. Let's break down this NFL draft. NFL fans, the Tennessee Titans are on the clock with the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft. For me, they're going Cam Ward or Abdul Carter. They could potentially trade back maybe at 2 if the Browns want to come up and take Cam Ward, or the Giants want to come up and take Cam Ward. And then maybe they could figure out a way to get the number 2 pick, bring in Abdul Carter. For me, it's between Abdul Carter and Cam Ward for the Titans, right? Mike Vrabel is the head coach there. He's a defensive-minded guy. So I'm going to surprise some people here. The Tennessee Titans are drafting Abdul Carter at number 1. For me, he's the most generational type of talent in this draft. If you pair up Abdul Carter with Myles Garrett, who's probably going to leave via trade, but the Browns aren't going to give him away, right? He wants a trade, but that doesn't mean he's going to get one. And then if he does get traded, Abdul Carter is your replacement on the D-line. I think it's a no-brainer to take Abdul Carter. Could they trade with the Browns or the Giants? That's a very big possibility. Now, the Browns are on the board at number 2. Do they pick a quarterback here? Do they go Travis Hunter? A very, very elite talent. Travis Hunter is a great route runner, shifty guy. He could play offense. He's probably, most scouts think he's a better cornerback. He could be a true number 1 shutdown corner, but man, the dude's a dog with the ball in his hands on offense too. Maybe you scheme up 15, 20 plays. Is that the type of situation? But with Abdul Carter going number 1, I think you got to bring in a quarterback. This guy has the potential to be a very, very solid quarterback in the NFL. He does have some footwork issues and some accuracy issues, especially down the field. But I like Cam Ward. I think he's head and shoulders above Shedeur Sanders. So the Browns are taking Cam Ward at number 2. That leaves a great opportunity for the Giants to get their quarterback. If Shedeur Sanders is on the board at number 3, I don't see any situation where the Giants don't pick a quarterback. Daniel Jones was a complete dumpster fire disaster for the Giants. They need a safe face. They're bringing in Shedeur Sanders at number 3. Now, the Patriots are on the board at number 4. Do you go Travis Hunter? They could use some cornerback help. They could use a wide receiver. But for me, Ted McMillan, he could be a, top 10 wide receiver. He might be a top 15, top 20 guy the moment he gets drafted. I'm that high on Ted McMillan. He's very, very, very talented, guys. He's a really, really good player. Would they pass up on Travis Hunter, who's kind of this hybrid guy? He plays a little bit of defense, but for me, this Patriots team has an okay defense. They really need to concentrate on offense. Ted McMillan is going to the Patriots at number 4, in my opinion. If I'm the GM of the Patriots, I know passing on Travis Hunter is crazy, but that's great for the Jaguars, right? Now the Jaguars, Travis Hunter stops at number 5. They need cornerback help. I think Travis Hunter is more of a cornerback in the NFL. He's going at number 5. No-brainer to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Raiders fans, you're picking at number 6. Mason Graham is on the board. Will Johnson, Malachi Starks, Will Campbell, James Pierce, Luther Burden, Mike Green, climbing up draft boards everywhere, guys. They need a quarterback too. There's no quarterback worth the number 6 pick. A trade back is an interesting scenario for the Raiders as well, but we're not doing trades here. Man, they need a cornerback. Will Johnson is very interesting to me, man. Great, great player. Season cut short due to injuries, but he's only going to get better, man. Great 2022, solid 2023. He's a true number 1 corner, 6'2", 202. Man, he's going to be hard to pass up for the Raiders at number 6. Mason Graham is an absolute dog, but they also need offensive line help desperately, man. The quarterback there, no matter who it is, needs to get protected. Will Johnson is the best tackle on the board right now, but I think Will Johnson from Michigan, that might be a little bit of a stretch for some people. I'm looking who else is available. I mean, I think they're going to go Will Johnson. I think he's the best cornerback in this draft. Like I said before, he's got really good size, 6'2", 202. They don't make him that big every day. He could be a true number one Pat Surtain type of cornerback. The Raiders take their corner, get Will Johnson at number 6. Now, the Jets are on the board here. They need interior defensive line help. They obviously need a quarterback. They're not taking a quarterback here. 100% not taking a cornerback. There's no D-backs worthy of this pick. Mason Graham is the best interior defensive lineman, in my opinion, in this draft. Look at this run defense grade 92. He can rush the passer too. Back-to-back 90 PFF grade campaigns. You know, but the hurries are there, the hits are there, the sacks are there. Run stop rate at 12% is there. Everything is top of the line. Mason Graham is going to the Jets, guys, for sure at number 7. Now, the Carolina Panthers are drafting at number 8. They need a ton of help, man. Malachi Starks makes a ton of sense. The offensive line played pretty good. They do need defensive line help. They could use some pass rushers for sure. James Pierce Jr., he might be that guy. Will Campbell, they could always use offensive line help, in my opinion, right? But for me, the Carolina Panthers defense is the weakest part of their team. James Pierce Jr. is probably the best guy on the board here. He run defender 84, pass rush grade near a 98 sacks, 4 hits, 43 hurries, playing against top tier competition, man. Alabama, Georgia, he's seen it all. Mike Green didn't really play the same type of level of competition. Played good teams, don't get me wrong. Ohio State's in there, Virginia Tech, but I just trust. Mike Green actually looked really good at the Senior Bowl as well. I just trust James Pierce Jr. more. They need pass rush help. If this defense wants to get better, they got to get after the quarterback. That'll help the secondary. James Pierce Jr. goes to the Panthers at number 8. Now the Saints are on the board. Kellen Moore, new head coach there. Do they go wide receiver? A guy like Luther Burden III makes a lot of sense. Tight end. They need some edge rushers as well. For me, do they go with like a guy like Mike Green? That could be very, very interesting for the Saints. Saints fans, let me know in the comments below. Where do you want them to go? Luther Burden III is a great wide receiver, man. His quarterback play was absolute booty cheeks in 2024. That's why his numbers regressed a little bit. But the quarterback play was better in 2023, and he put up monster numbers. 5'11", 208. They have receivers there, not great ones. So maybe D-line is where you want to go. I think the Saints are going to take a flyer on Mike Green. I really do. Josh Simmons is there as well. Emeka Ekbuka, I love his tape as well. He's a very talented guy. Walter Nolan, he's one of my favorite interior defensive linemen for the Saints to potentially draft. But when I look at Mike Green, he has the potential to be a difference maker, right? A true difference maker. They could go interior defensive line. The Saints are a complete wild card, guys. Walter Nolan from Mississippi is just so talented. They need D-line help, man. So run defense grade 91. Oh, man, I'm really thinking about that pick for them. Walter Nolan. It's a stretch at number 8. This is a trade back scenario for sure for the Saints. But you know what? I think they need to protect whoever the hell the quarterback is. Will Campbell. He's going to the Saints at 9, Going to the Saints at number 9. Now the Bears are on the board. Now this is where it gets really interesting, right? Ben Johnson coming over there. They got pretty good wide receivers in DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. I don't know about DeAndre Swift's future there. They need offensive line help bad. Josh Simmons, pass block rate is up there. 6'5", 310, got pretty damn good size. But Mike Green, the edge defender, just seems too good to pass up at this spot, guys. These other positions they could address later in the draft. Mike Green isn't going into the second round. The Bears get a monster edge defender in Mike Green at number 10. Number 11, They need offensive line help desperately, San Francisco. I'm looking at the O linemen. Let's go tackle as well. Josh Simmons, Kelvin Banks, Membu. I do like Armand Membu, man. He's going to fly up draft boards. I think he's more of a guard at the NFL, 6'3", 314. I don't think he's going to play tackle. Kelvin Banks is on the board too. He's got better size, 6'4", 320. They need help. I like Kelvin Banks more than I like Simmons personally. So I'm going Kelvin Banks to San Francisco at pick 11. That leaves us with the Cowboys picking at number 12. Do they go wide receiver? Do they go running back? Do they go tackle, edge defender? For me, the cupboard is very, very thin for the Cowboys at wide receiver, right? It really is. It's CeeDee Lamb and nobody else. Brandon Cooks is a free agent. Luther Burden is too good to pass up. I know a lot of people want Genty, but the Cowboys can address running back later in the draft. There's a ton of really good running backs. I think Ashton Genty could slide because of that. Luther Burden goes to the Cowboys at 12. Now, the Miami Dolphins are on the board. They need offensive line help desperately. They're going offensive line 100%. I don't know. Josh Simmons, I don't get the hype on Josh Simmons, man. He was hurt a lot this season, didn't play the second half of the year. Put pretty good tape out there in the small amount of time he was there. He played right tackle. He played left tackle. A lot of diversity in his game. I like Membu probably a little bit better, man. I really, really do. 6'3", 314. Josh Simmons is coming at 6'5", 310. More left tackle. Gray Zabel is amazing as well. He had really good tape, man. He crushed the Senior Bowl. You know what? Oh, man. Membu, Zabel, Simmons. A lot of people are really high on Simmons, so that maybe the Dolphins take Simmons at 13. Yeah, that makes more sense. He could play both tackle positions. Now, the Colts are on the board. They need edge defender. They need D-back help. They need a bunch of help on offense. Do they draft a guy like Tyler Warren, who could be a huge, huge addition to Anthony Richardson, right, in those intermediate routes? Because Anthony Richardson has been very inaccurate with the football. Tyler Warren makes a lot of sense. This guy, receiving grade 93.3, 1,200 yards. This dude's a monster. I think Shane Steichen would really like this kind of weapon in his offense. Yeah, Tyler Warren goes to the Colts at 14. Now, on the clock is the Falcons. The Falcons had one of the worst pass rushes in the NFL this year. They couldn't get after the quarterback at all whatsoever. For me, it's between these three guys. Mykel Williams, Walter Nolan, and Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. He's not the pass rusher they need. They need a pass rusher. Straight up, who is the best pass rusher? A lot of these linemen aren't the best pass rushers, man. So do they go like a guy like Walter Nolan, who's amazing at the run, and he actually rushes the passer just as good, if not better than those other two guys. Really solidified the interior part of that defense, right? Kill two birds with one stone. Someone who might garner some double teams, right? I don't love the edge defenders in this draft. Jack Sawyer might be the guy, actually, man. Back-to-back great campaigns at Ohio State. 6'5", 260. Can really be that edge guy they need. They need someone who can rush the passer. 10 sacks, 16 hits, 38 hurries. National champion. Jack Sawyer, he's the guy. Going to the Falcons at 15. Cardinals are on the board. I feel like I say this every freaking year. They need offensive line help. Desperately. Desperately. Walter Nolan's in play. Mykel Williams from Georgia is in play. But as an edge defender, the sack numbers just aren't there, man. They're just not there. So I'm going with the offensive lineman, Armin Membu. This dude, right tackle, all 3 years that he played at Missouri. Run block grade, pass block grade, both over 85. He gave up no sacks this year, man. The Cardinals need offensive line help. Membu goes to the Cardinals at 16. Now, coming up, the Bengals. They need defensive line help. They need cornerback help. They need offensive line help. A guy like Malachi Starr makes a lot of sense for the Bengals, man. He makes a lot of sense there. Or Ekbuka. Is T. Higgins going to walk? I don't know. They could bring in another weapon at 17, but man, they need D-line help desperately. For me, guys, I'm looking at the D linemen. I'm looking at the edge defenders, trying to find somebody to, you know what? Walter Nolan, I love Walter Nolan. I love his tape. That run defense grade 91. He's going to be a fixture in the middle of that defense. Walter Nolan goes to the Bengals at 17. Now the Seahawks are on the board, kind of in the same situation, right? They need offensive line help desperately. They need edge help. Where do they go? Williams is still on the board. Malachi Starks is on the board. Matthew Golden, he's really climbing up draft boards. Kenneth Grant from Michigan, he's a really good interior defensive lineman as well. I really like his tape. Shamar Stewart, run defense grade 88. You know, the pass rush, 2 sacks a year for an edge guy in college. It's not good enough for me, man. It's not good enough for me, for the Seahawks, right? I'm going to look at the offensive linemen. I'm going to look at the offensive tackles. Gray Zabel makes perfect sense. He can play center. He can play left guard. He can play right guard. He makes perfect sense for the Seahawks. He goes to the Seahawks at 18. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, edge defender, linebacker, D-back. Maybe wide receiver is interesting too. Godwin's coming off an injury. Mike Evans is getting older, you know. Tight end is a possibility too for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion. D-back makes a lot of sense. They struggled in the secondary this year with injuries and just not good play. Malachi Starks, he's too good to pass up for the Buccaneers. He goes Georgia Bulldog, number 19, to the Buccaneers. Now, this is a really interesting spot for the Denver Broncos, right? So, I like these corners, Amos and Revel, too, late in the first round. But, you know what? You know what makes Bo Nix better? Bringing in a great running back. Ashton Genty falling to the Broncos at number 20. Dude, he could catch the ball out of the backfield in that Sean Payton offense. Yo, Ashton Genty goes to the Broncos at pick 20. Pittsburgh Steelers are on the board, right? Pickens has been a dumpster fire there. He's a huge pain in the ass. Emeka Ekbuka, dude, super talented guy. Lit it up all 3 years in college, man. 2,000-yard seasons. Hurt in 2023, or he would have had another 1,000-yard season. 10 tutties, 81 receptions. Yeah, the Steelers need help at a lot of places. A guy like Ben Morrison is definitely in play for me as well, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. But I think Ekbuka is just too good. Who knows what Pickens is going to do? They need another weapon on the outside. We'll draft the quarterback in the 2nd or 3rd round. Ekbuka goes to the Steelers at 21. Now, Chargers at pick 22. Harbaugh coached Loveland in college, right? Colston Loveland is an absolute dog. There's no way that Colston Loveland makes it past the Chargers, in my opinion. The Harbaugh-Loveland connection is real. One of the best tight ends in the draft goes to the Chargers at 22. Now, coming up is the Packers, guys. They need a true number 1 wide receiver as well. Matthew Golden is definitely in play for me. 6 foot, 195. The dude just is a dog. Dog mentality. Almost 1,000 yards. 9 touchdowns. Could he be a true number 1 wide receiver? I'm not 100% sure on that. They need some edge guys too. Maybe Shamar Stewart's, slide stops here. 6'6", 290. I do love his size. That could be a really interesting pick, but they need cornerback help as well. I think Ben Morrison goes to the Packers at 23. Vikings on the board at 24. Some interior defensive line help. Cornerback help, edge defenders. I think Shamar Stewart is the guy for the Vikings. They need D-line help. Shamar Stewart, I like his size, 6'6", 290. Michael Williams, 6'5", 265. A more leaner guy. Shamar Stewart, you could put him inside maybe if you wanted to, if he beefed up a little bit. But I like Shamar Stewart. They need some D-line help, man. They need some D-line help there. But interior defensive lineman Kenneth Grant is looking pretty tasty there too, guys, at this pick, man. They need more interior defensive line help. The Vikings do. You know what? I'm going Kenny Grant, going to the Vikings at 24. Now, picking at 25, Houston Texans, man. They need some offensive line help. desperately, guys. Interior offensive line help. They need O-line help. That offensive line was a dumpster fire this year, man. Interior offensive line. Booker, the guard, is definitely in play for me. Ursery, Connerly Jr., 6'4", 315. Tyler Booker, definitely a guard at 6'5", 325. Ursery, I do love him. 6'6", 330. True tackle size. Donovan Jackson, solid player as well. I think the Texans go offensive line. A guy like Tyler Booker makes a lot of sense for them, man. Pass block grade 86. But Ursery, man, played left tackle all 3 years. They don't really need a tackle, but Wyatt Millum, Shapilo's on the board. Oh, man, I don't know. I'm looking at where they're at, picking in the first round. Oh, what do we do here? Shamar Stewart makes a lot of sense. Scourton from Texas A&M, he's a baller too. These edge guys are kind of falling a little bit. Maybe they go edge here. Wide receiver. Oh, man, the Texans, it's a tough scenario, man. Most of these tackles left, especially Ursery, is probably going to be moved inside. So, Josh Connerly Jr., 6'4", 315. He's probably more of a guard. So, he's probably the best guy left on the board. Ursery at Minnesota didn't necessarily. He played good against big programs like UCLA, USC, and Penn State. I think they're taking a flyer on him, man. He can play anywhere. You can kick him in the guard, shift him over to right tackle. Ursery goes to the Texans at 25. Now, the Rams are on the board. Cooper Kupp is getting traded. He's not going to be there. They're going to probably move on from him. They need some offensive line help as well. Linebacker help, cornerback help. Let's see where they go. Jody Barron is on the board here. What a great year at Texas, man. The Rams are not going to pass up on him. That secondary got torched a lot. Jody Barron is going to the Rams. The Rams need secondary help. Now, the Ravens are picking at pick 27. Seems like the Ravens always are picking at the bottom of the draft. It's going to be interesting. I think a guy like Shamar Stewart, I think his draft fall stops with the Ravens, man. Edge defender, Shamar Stewart goes to the Ravens. That's a true Ravens pick. A guy who could rush the passer or stop the run. Now, coming up is your Detroit Lions, guys. Ben Johnson is gone. Aaron Glenn is gone. They're going to pick best player available at this spot at pick 28. Mykel Williams is the best guy on the board. Him and Scourton, I kind of like Scourton a little bit better, guys. With the Hutchinson injury, they go edge here. Nick Scourton from Texas A&M. Now, the Washington Commanders, they need cornerback help. They need D-line help. They had trouble stopping the run this year. Who's the best guy left on the board stopping the run? Mykel Williams goes to the Commanders at pick 29. They're going to address cornerback a little bit later in the draft in the second round. The Bills are on the board, picking at pick 30. They need a difference maker here, man. A guy like Matt Golden on the board here. Oh, where do they go? They could go cornerback as well. Trey Amos and Siobhan Revel are both very talented guys. I like Trey Amos a lot. I'm a huge fan of his. 6'1", 190, got pretty good size. Siobhan Revel, he's right up there as well. 6'3", 193, bigger, taller guy. I don't know if I want a 6'3" cornerback, man. I don't know. We'll have to see what he runs at the combine before I could really give my opinion on him. But 3 picks left in the first round. Alec Amai-Manor, he's really talented too at the wide receiver position. But I think Trey Amos is the pick, man. Bills take Trey Amos at pick 30. Now, the Chiefs are on the board. They need wide receiver help desperately, right? Hollywood Brown, he's a free agent. Hopkins is a free agent. Rashee Rice will be back healthy. Adding Matthew Golden to that mix could be very interesting as well. But I do think offensive line, man, their offensive tackle situation is bad. Wyatt Millum, Josh Connerly Jr. is on the board here. Really good pass blocker, 83.5, 6'4", 315, pretty solid size. Cam Williams, I'm just not a fan of him. Wyatt Millum is interesting as well. 3-year starter. You know what? I loved his tape. 3-year left tackle starter. He can run block. He can pass block. He goes to the Chiefs at pick 31. Now, my Philadelphia Eagles are on the board at pick 32. Eagles! Eagles! Edge defender is a big position of need. Josh Sweat is a free agent. Interior defensive line, a big need as well. TJ Sanders is on the board. Landon Jackson on the board, the edge defender from Arkansas. He's someone. Princely Umanmielen. I have no idea. I'm butchering that name. Big time prospect out of Ole Miss. Princely Umanmielen. I like that pick as well, guys, for the Eagles. I don't think they go wide receiver. They're not going to go offensive line. Tyleik Williams, interior defensive lineman, great at stopping the run, but he can't rush the passer. And in Vic Fangio's scheme, the D lineman, the front four, got to be able to rush the passer, right? So he's out, in my opinion. Donovan Ezuraku, he is very interesting, and too, I love this pick. I've mocked him to the Eagles before. 14 sacks. He can get to the quarterback. Josh Sweat probably not coming back. There it is, guys. Wrapping up my first round mock draft for the post-Super Bowl era, guys. Here we go. Titans take Abdul Carter. Giants get their man, Shedeur Sanders. The Broncos get Genty at 20. I love that pick. Mike Green goes to the Bears at 10. Cowboys get Luther Burden Jr., the third, at number 12. Very, very solid draft, man. And Egbuka goes to the Steelers at 21. Colston Loveland gets that Michigan reunion with Coach Harbaugh. Guys, I think we crushed this first round draft. My Eagles get Donovan Ezuraku, the edge defender from Boston College. Great pick there, guys. Let me know in the comments below what's your favorite team and who do you want your favorite team to draft in the first round. I would love to know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.